All right, at this time, I would like to offer my fellow board members and Dr. Rendell an opportunity to recognize students, staff, or members of the community. Who would like to go first?
I would.
All right, Ms.
All right,
Campbell.
thank you. Let me just catch myself up. First of all, I wanted to thank the One Voice Brevard organization for the Helping Hands Free Disability Resource Conference they did on August the 2nd. It was a terrible weather day, but even with that, and this being the inaugural event, it was my understanding that they had 433 people come, and we had two of our representatives from BPS, Dr. Fontan and Dr. Baez, were there, and they sat on a panel and shared resources that are available through the school district. So I wanted to thank them in particular for being there representing BPS and the great work we're doing with students with disabilities. Second of all, I wanted to thank Dave Lindeman and the construction project coordinators. I did my annual summer construction project tour field trip last Wednesday, and Dave took me around to several South area District 5 schools. They just are representative of lots of the projects that went on across the district. I know they were all happening in all of your districts as well. We got to see such great work that our team did, so I thank all those people, and including the administrators at the school for coming off task for a little bit to show me around and let me share with the public what was going on with their tax dollars. Third, I want to talk about the bus patrol. This is very important, and one of the reasons why, if for no other reason, I think we need to be back on camera, because I know the sheriff did his live stream on Friday, but we want to make sure everybody's understanding that starting yesterday up until through September the 17th, we finally have those stop arm cameras activated on our buses, on every bus. And for the people who are ignoring the state laws about how you stop completely when a bus is stopped with the lights are flashing, the red arms are out, and people blow past them all the time. I have gotten very aggravated on Dairy Road in West Melbourne all the time when I see it. It happens all the time. So just want to give a warning to everyone. We want to keep our kids safe. So please, 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 when you see those buses stop, arms out, lights flashing, we don't want people to get those $250 tickets, that number is set by the state, but that's going to happen. And so from this period, we're in the warning period. It probably will just be about a week before people start getting those warnings. And as soon as we get to September 17th, it's not a warning anymore, it is a fine. So please pay attention. We want to keep our kids safe. And if you watched the video, you saw some of the atrocious video of people ignoring those signs, ignoring the law, and putting students at risk. And we don't want that to happen in Brevard. Finally, not finally, I've got a couple of other things. The FSBA legislative platform proposals are due. The submission deadline is September the 5th. We can all, of course, as individual board members, if you're part of FSBA, submit a proposal that would potentially go on the platform for this year. But if we want to do something together, our next board meeting workshop day is our last time to kind of workshop that. And I know, Dr. Rendell, we probably need to be getting our own Brevard-specific platform together because committee weeks start in October. But if I would like to request that at our next workshop, we kind of have just a short time to think if there's anything we want to put on together as a board, and then we can submit it together, that it's come from all of us, or if any of us have individual ones, we can put those on there as well. I wanted to address something about the cell phone issue, and I think, especially after having a conversation with Russell Cheatham, I just want to address a couple of things. One, phones can still be used before and after school, and I know that doesn't help the students who can't stay after school to work on science projects, but those things, as soon as that last bell rings, students can use them to record auditions, to practice with friends, to do science projects and things like that, because the restriction is from bell to bell. But also, because several people mentioned the laptop, I just thought I'd share this from Mr. Cheatham about the laptops being super slow in these last couple of days. He mentioned that after the computers sit through all the summer, when the first time they get fired up, which has happened a lot in the last 2 days, that it does take quite some time for those laptops to do all the updates. And so that it's not going to be every day that it takes 15, 20 minutes, however long for a computer to fire up and get going. So I just wanted to clarify that. And then finally, I did want to address some things that were said about Ms. Calhoun's situation, because I believe that as I went back to listen to my own response in the April meetings and the times we've had this conversation. I wanted to make sure, I'm like, that I'm being consistent. You know, the first meeting that Mr. Thomas brought it up, it was a surprise to me, so it was like this first reaction off the cuff, and then the next meeting we have a conversation. So I will tell you that what a lot of people have said tonight about the board said this and the board promised, those are words actually that came out of my mouth. I said that I would hope that that I supported the recommendation of the superintendent back in the spring when he non-renewed her, that I would hope that once the state was finished, that she would apply and be able to come back. That is me. I am one board member. But I will tell you, I also shared, and I still do believe this, that this is not a simple matter. And I'm going to liken it to this. We have one of my good friends is a media specialist, and when we had all the conflict about books a few years ago, and I was finding out about the process in which they add books to their collection, she said to me, you know, when I see the way that they add things to the collection is they either have read it through themselves or they've done, I think it was they've read 3 reviews from professional sources. But she said to me, look, if I see a book and it looks like it might be a controversial topic, I'm reading that one. I'm not just going to take somebody's word for it. To me, this is the same kind of situation. We do have, since almost 2 years ago, the nickname rule, and I get it. My son goes by his middle name. I have to fill out the form. It's there in focus. So I get that. But if you have a situation where a name doesn't match, just to be completely honest, and transparent, the biological sex, that is one of those situations where you probably should check. So I'm going to, not your turn. I'm going to say this, that being said, I have shared as a board member, and each board member, I'm sure, I have shared my thoughts with Dr. Rendell, and I still am of the mind that I hope that once Ms. Calhoun, I hope she finds an opportunity at a charter school, private school, if that's allowed. I'm not sure about the rules. And if the opportunity opens up next year, I hope that she would be able to return. But I will say that is me, Katie Campbell, as a board. I have shared my thoughts with Dr. Rendell. Nothing that I'm saying tonight is a surprise to him. But that being said, I also know my role and my lane as a board member. It is the superintendent's job to make the hiring and firing decisions in this district, and the board approves them. I am not willing, considering what his statement has been, I am not willing to create new precedent to step in and step out of my lane. So I feel like I can say all that and be consistent with what I've said from the beginning. It is the superintendent's role. So I just wanted to be clear about that. And so I won't be bringing forward a motion to ask you to do anything that is not in my lane.
Great.
Mr. Chair.
Ms. Wright, you want to go first? Next?
All right, I'm going to change gears. So board member recognitions, that's where I'm going to focus right now. Obviously, we've had the start of school, so lots of good stuff happening. All of our kiddos are back in the classroom. Thank you so much to the GCR team to help coordinate this first day school visits and coming out, taking pictures with us. That was a lot of fun. I selfishly went to my own child's school, and I will say Dr. Connors is off to a running start at Space Coast. She had the band going, cheerleaders there. It was good. The atmosphere was welcoming and fun, and I am just very excited to see what she's going to do at Space Coast. I want to give a shout out. I mentioned this board to you before that at the very beginning of this month, there's a special individual in the North End, Miss Edna Wilson, who raised funds for this Kicks for Kids. And we had the opportunity to go and help, and it was so successful that they had to do it for 2 weekends because there's 1,400 pairs of shoes, brand new shoes, where the kids get to go into a shoe store, not just pick any pair of shoe that was donated. They get to go pick their own pair of shoes. And it was a special event. I think it really speaks to the fact that that's what community looks like when everybody chips in to help. And I want to thank you, Edna, I know you worked a ton of hours, and I know you helped fundraise, and it's all for the love of the kids, and I just cannot thank you enough for that. Ms. Campbell, you obviously already talked about bus patrol, so we are very excited about that. I want to thank all of our municipality, officers that came and stood with us and said, hey, this is a unified front. We're going to do what it takes to make sure that our children are safe. And so I'm excited to make sure that that's one more step, that our kids are safe getting on and off of the bus. And then other than that, obviously we had our Commissioner of Education here in Brevard County, so very grateful for that visit. He got to see a lot of the good CTE stuff that's going on around our county, and want to thank him for taking the time, the day to come here and see all the amazing things that are happening in Brevard County. Other than that, I do not have anything else. Thank you.
Susan? Okay, you can pass it up.
Mr. Chair?
Thomas, all right.
So, two things, or actually three things. First two are positive. The third one is very important to our school district. First of all, I'd like to echo the comments about the GCR that Mrs. Wright made. Most of you guys know that each of us went to different schools on the first day of school, and welcome the kids back. And Allison Kimmy with GCR put together an amazing story on Facebook. If you haven't seen it, go to our BPS page and click story. I believe it's the trick on how to do it, and I like it. But she did a really good job, and it really highlighted all the kids coming back to school. So much appreciated, and kudos to Allison Kimmy. Secondly, I'd like to give a shout out to Dr. Rendell for his State of the School presentation. He put it on at VR Middle School. Accelerate Brevard was the host, and he did a phenomenal job. I think everybody that walked out of that auditorium was a believer in BPS and saw all the good things that were going on. So good job on that, Dr. Rendell. And then last but not least, I'm going to bring up, obviously, my concerns with Melissa Calhoun. And just to answer a couple of things that you had mentioned, I think we've taken a simple matter and the district has made it complicated. I think it's a very simple matter. There was a rule violation. She admitted it. There was a discipline issued, and we have gone above and beyond that. So it's a very simple issue. My issue is not about parental rights. Parental rights were upheld. It is that we have gone above and beyond that. So I did make a few comments. We are staying in our lane, by the way, because yes, it's the superintendent's job to make personnel decisions, but when we question that decision, it's our job to make sure that it's not carte blanche. We need to make sure that we question and make sure that the public know our concerns, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. I have great respect for Dr. Rendell. Before I make these comments, this is not a personal attack on anybody. I think Dr. Rendell has done a very good job. I disagree with him on this decision and on his judgment for this decision, but that doesn't take away that he's doing a lot of other great things. We're an A school district for two years in a row, so that should not be forgotten. He's done a very good job. But the district told Melissa Calhoun publicly in writing, quote, "Ms. Calhoun is welcome to apply to work at the district when the issue is resolved with the state," unquote. That was our word, no question, that was it. The state cleared her certificate to teach again, despite being falsely accused of gender affirmation, made a scapegoat, and facing intense media scrutiny and financial stress of not knowing if she's going to have a job. She remained dedicated, supporting her student success, and immediately she supported her student success and immediately reapplied as soon as she had the opportunity to do so. Why did she do that after all that she went through, all her family went through? She still, first thing she did as soon as she got cleared was reapply. Who in their right mind would reapply after everything that she went through?
All right. Let us talk up here. Thank you.
So, I think that the reason why she reapplied is because it was driven by her love for teaching, for her students, and for this district, and that should not be ignored. I wish we had every teacher had that kind of commitment to our district. And the term has been used tonight a couple of times, but I'm going to claim it because it was my original term, and now the goalposts have been moved, and that's not fair. It is my belief that this district's word is our bond, and we should act with honor. And when we say something, we should do it. If we break that trust, we lose the moral authority to lead, and we betray the confidence of the 9,000 employees who rely on us to be consistent and fair and principled. Melissa Calhoun should not be a political pawn or a headline. She should be a Brevard public school teacher. And I do want to be clear because, everybody's talking about parental rights. Parental rights were supported in this situation. There was an investigation. Mrs. Calhoun was very forthcoming. She said everything. The reason why she got in trouble is because she was honest. So the question shouldn't be whether there was a violation. That's not the question. There was a violation. That ship has sailed. The question is now is, do we keep our word, or do we punish her, a third time for, we already gave her a written reprimand. The state already levied their punishment, and now we're going to go ahead and do a third thing by not rehiring her. To me, that's triple jeopardy. Melissa Calhoun is a dedicated teacher who made a mistake, one without malicious intent. She's not a woke educator. When asked, she spoke the truth openly and honestly. She faced disciplinary action from both this district and the Florida Department of Education and did exactly what was asked of her. She did not hide, did not lie, and did not make excuses. There was no defiance, no hidden agenda. Melissa simply called a student by the name she had known for years. The investigation found no evidence of malicious intent, only that she had unintentionally broken a DOE rule that was communicated to her in a faculty meeting in 2023, but by her own admission was not at the forefront of her mind at the end of the 2024-2025 school year. Is that an excuse for breaking the rule? Absolutely not. Yet now, some push a false narrative claiming she consciously engaged in gender affirmation. That claim is not supported by any fact. Zero. As conservatives, we must stand firmly against government overreach, against punishing someone, in this case, for a third time for the same matter. Leadership means keeping our word even when it's difficult. Moving the goalposts, especially if politically motivated, sends a chilling message. No one is safe from becoming the next scapegoat. So I will end with one final question. Now, nowhere in this investigation did any facts emerge to support the claim that Melissa Calhoun deliberately engaged in gender affirmation. That allegation is simply and unequivocally false. If this decision was not politically motivated, if Melissa truly posed a grave threat to our students, if she truly posed a grave threat to our students, why did the district allow her to finish the entire school year? And if that were the belief, she would have been removed immediately. If that was the belief, she would have been removed immediately, but she was not. Instead, Dr. Rendell made it abundantly clear on April 22nd to WKMG, quote, "She is still teaching today. Her students are still getting prepared for the AP exams. We understand that she is an effective teacher, but unfortunately, she violated the law, and we're not going to reappoint her to her annual contract while her certificate is in jeopardy," unquote. Well, her certificate is no longer in jeopardy. The district allowed Melissa to finish the year. There was no reason to keep her out of the classroom then, obviously, and there's no reason to keep her out of the classroom now. So, therefore, I make the motion that this board request the superintendent reevaluate all the facts of this case involving Melissa Calhoun and reconsider the decision not to rehire her.
Enough of that. Please refrain from the applause, please. This is our time for board discussion. Matt, okay. All right, so I'll do a couple things. We'll do.
Need to address them.
Well. No second.
If there's no second, it fails.
It just goes away. So, all right, so I'll say a few words on a positive note for the school. Visited a few schools. The first day of school went off without a hitch. It was awesome. Our open gate worked at one of our largest high schools. It was as if it was not even an issue. So it was very, very the same as it was before we had that in the place. So kudos to all the teachers, administrators who, again, let first day of teaching go through or the schools open and no emails, no craziness that we couldn't get the first day of school started, so hats off there. I will address a couple things that words matter. And we did hear a lot this evening about a teacher being cleared. Words matter. There was no teacher being cleared. Okay? So I don't believe probation and needing to take an ethics class is cleared. Okay? So let's be clear on words because words matter. This board did not say or vote on rehiring said teacher at any moment. Ms. Campbell, you said it eloquently. You may have alluded to that, and that's your right, okay? But as a board, that was not there to say. So to say this board said something and did another, that's political in nature. That's wrong. The fact is, we did not. We didn't take it up for a vote. We said, even a board member said, that person could reapply. Now, if we didn't allow that person to reapply, that would be doing one thing and saying another. That would be hypocrisy. They did apply, okay? She was, okay. Okay, so words matter. She was not cleared. I support the decision of our superintendent. I know my lane. That's an HR issue. Yes, we may disagree on an HR issue, but to continue to run to the media is not the solution. It's not the answer, okay? We're 1 out of 5 votes up here. And the sooner we realize that, it matters, okay? You understand your role. So that's really all we want to say on that. Okay. Dr. Rendell, would you like to finish?
I just want to remind everybody that we just opened school 2 days ago. It takes a Herculean effort to get schools open on the first day. I want to make sure that all the people that are responsible for that do get a shout out at some point tonight. Mr. Trent did talk about the teachers in the classroom and the people in the buildings, but did a lot of work at a lot of buildings over the summer to get them ready. So I think the facilities and maintenance team deserve some recognition for that. A lot of work was done over the summer, and we always have to worry about making sure that it's ready on the first day of school, and we opened with all those projects completed and ready on the first day of school. And aside from one AC shutdown today, we've had 2 really good days, smooth openings, some late buses, as usually happens on the first few weeks of the school. But all the people that did all the work over the summer to make sure that we were ready to open, they deserve some kind of gratitude from the dais today. So I want to thank all those people who made that happen. That's it.
Okay. No other business. This meeting is adjourned.